Hello, friend.
Hey, Steven.
Hello, friend.
Sorry we spammed you.
That's
Yeah, sorry about that.
I've
They're
grown
not sorry.
accustomed to it.
At all. It was a plan. It was precognited.
All right, I got 15 minutes.
Oh shit.
I returned.
Oh, hey, that's cool. The discussion channel's collapsed into a bunch of circles.
Oh, you gotta click on the voice channel thing and unclaps it.
Holy crap. Wow. That's a lot of people. Wow.
So Steven, Nodes 3.
So, yes.
The heavy
The
stuff.
nodes 3.
Don't be nosy.
Don't be nosy. Nice. I like it. Working on it. Working on
Stephen,
it. Yes.
what about EU servers for Alpha 1?
We are in the process of securing those for next month's testing.
Thank you. Well, I can go back to the gym now. See you later.
Yep.
Actually, I've got one more. That video of the environment, was that Bear's work for the music?
No, that was not Bear's work. Bear's
Alright,
Bear's work will be in place by phase 2.
Perfect. I can tell Shane so he can stop moaning.
How long do you plan to keep Alpha 1 servers up?
So there'll be regimented test sessions to begin with. They'll move from hours to days to weeks to persistent. And that schedule depends on the performance during the testing phases.
Okay.
Will
Did you know we'd like them
um,
up full time?
Will you guys be able to aim for both during the weekend, also the weekends, or will it be specifically based on your work hours?
So to begin with, I think we are targeting the first week of testing will probably play for a number of hours each day between Wednesday and Saturday. And then the following week, we'll probably expand that out to a greater selection of hours and run till Sunday. And then the week after that is when we'll start to have it up kind of all day thing around into a persistent 24/7 following in the weeks after that.
So Saturday the 15th, my birthday, the server will be live.
The 15th of September?
Yeah, next month.
I don't know if it's the 15th or we're aiming for the third week of September. Third or
Alright,
15th week, yeah.
So on a weekend, right? So I can play it.
There will be weekend days included, yeah.
Make it 13th, so Sunday American. That way I can actually do something Monday, my birthday.
My goal is to make it as soon as it is ready to be played. But I will say though that we have hit the ahead of our schedule, which is what I expected from the amazing team. They consistently have been performing ahead of schedule, so that's always good to know.
10 out of 10 work.
Good to hear.
Hey, quick question for you. Will you be the final boss during the horde mode?
That's a good question. The horde mode will absolutely include boss mechanics. So some of the ideas behind that is going to have a wave mode of a variety of NPCs. We'll likely include some achievable cosmetics as well in that mode, depending on how far you can get. And those cosmetics will include pets of the NPCs that you face, so like a little miniature version of the NPCs, and we'll update those as well that you'll have in the MMO.
Nice.
It's actually really awesome.
And is the horde mode just for specifically testing, or will that be an actual mode in game?
That's specifically for testing. It's a way that we thought it would be kind of fun to implement AI mechanics that we're looking to implement. Testing the Blackboard for the AI, being able to have variable types of NPCs that have roles, whether it be like a sniper, ranged, melee, boss, heroic, kind of different AI focuses for those monsters during interesting situations.
Alpha 1, Phase 1, the time slots, will there be EU friendly slots as well?
Phase 1 of Alpha 1 will be EU friendly. Well, I'm sorry. The initial time slots, I think, will be EU friendly. I think those will probably start around like 7 p.m. EU time, roughly. So it should be relatively good.
Steven, what will you be having for packs for the demo? Is it going to be something similar to what we've seen in the past, or is it going to be something more unique?
So PAX consists only of the panel as well as a meet and greet that will give meeting times out probably before the end of this week, if not next week. There will not be a playable demo at PAX because it is only hold on one second.
Yeah, PAX. Woo!
Chubbs, can you calm down for a second?
Sorry, I love PAX. Sorry. I go to every
hype train going.
I go to every single PAX.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so panel and meet and greet. So there won't be a demo that's playable for participants. However, we'll be showing footage and making some announcements and stuff.
Stephen, I got a question for you. We were discussing in chat earlier about freeholds and whether or not a person would be safe in their home or within the entirety of their freehold from getting player killed.
I think our initial testing is going to revolve around the footprint of their freehold. And then we'll take into consideration the metrics gleaned from that testing.
Awesome. Thanks.
Will we be able to queue up with friends for the large scale fights?
For the phase 1 arena style stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's going to be party modes where you can queue up with up to 4 friends. And then there will also be a guild mode that's implemented a little bit after the start where you can queue up with up to 19 of your friends.
Nice.
19 is an oddball number.
Well, it's a total
19
of
plus 1.
20, right?
Yeah, a total of 20.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say 19 people.
I can't, man.
It was mentioned about the the name reservations. Is there anything stopping people from griefing others with the name reservations? Saying, like, say, if you've got a guild and there are people with doubled up accounts, if they steal your guild's name, is there anything against that or anything?
So the name reservations that are present in phase 2 will not be guild name reservations. They will be character name reservations. And I guess, there's no way really to stop an individual from wasting their name reservation to, I guess, grief someone else. I would just depend on the fact that it is limited and expensive to gain the name reservation. So
I was more concerned about the guild.
Yeah, the guild won't be. The guild name reservations won't be implemented probably until I would say just before beta 1.
Okay.
Once we have a initial world server list for all of the world servers that we intend to launch with, that's when we'll announce the guild name reservation.
For the name reservations for your character will be on a priority list, say based on your backer level.
That's correct. It'll be based on backer level. So it'll be first come first serve within that tier. So individuals at the Kickstarter backer levels before those in the Intrepid pack level.
Question: will Kickstarter come first before the summer Kickstarter, or?
Correct. We'll have Kickstarter, then summer backers, then Intrepid pack holders.
Okay, cool.
So, Steven, I know you said in the past about there being a guild number or a guild member limit, and it's kind of understood at the moment that it's going to be 300. Is that the case, or have y'all changed that, or what?
So in testing, we'll start with that cap. However,
Right.
it's important to note that the 300 is the maximum cap that is attained by leveling the guild and selecting the path of size as opposed to the path of guild skills. So the larger you choose to allow for members to join your guild, increasing that member cap, the less focused and honed the available skill options will be from a guild level up perspective for guild members. So the way that kind of works is it plays as a counterbalance to larger guilds versus smaller, more honed and focused guilds. It kind of gives them an equitable edge of participation.
So
That's
you
awesome.
you kind of answered my follow-up question, but do you think that a guild that is a size of 150 would be able to go against a guild that is 300?
It definitely depends on the situation in which you are putting those two guilds against each other. For example, if you have more objective-based combat that revolves around high mobility and agility, strong focus, organization, I would expect the smaller guild to outperform the larger guild with regards to that. If you're speaking purely a numbers game and they're meeting on the field, then I would expect the larger guild to perform in that. The balance comes in our play scenarios. Do we offer solely a field-based combat system where you show up with the numbers you have, in which case you lean heavily towards Zergs? Or do you implement designs that feature both components of objective-based combat that involves organizational rule as opposed to just having that field presence? And we intend to offer both.
So are you saying that like a well-balanced small guild, like say you have like the right amount of healers to tanks to damage or to DPS player guild, like that's a smaller guild, and then the other guild might be twice as big, but they have a less balanced guild, like would they be at a disadvantage in that scenario?
Well, that's kind of two questions in that sense. So one is from a class organizational standpoint. I always feel that if you balance based on groups, that and your balance focus is to incorporate features that play well from a player versus player perspective, as well as a player versus environment perspective, having support classes, having DPS and tanks that can obstruct movement and or create bottlenecks on the field and stuff like that. I think a well-rounded raid will perform better against a non-well-rounded raid. However, then you incorporate the second aspect of numbers, and that's where again mobility, organization, leadership, tactics, having objectives in gameplay that make those important helps to balance the Zerg mentality that a lot of guilds can tend to have. Now, Zerg is an unorganized group of a large group of people. There are absolutely guilds out there that have a large following and good organizational leadership and can structure their raids well, and I think those will be the most performing in the game, obviously, and that's where then guild sizes come to play, creating the opportunity for division in the game to allow for, this subterfuge to play a role in politics and stuff like that. But our focus is making a place for smaller guilds to be competitive with larger guilds as well.
Question for you. Since we're going to be testing siege mechanics, are sieges in the game meant to be specifically against nodes? Are they meant to be instanced where only the attacking node can basically participate and the only defending node can participate? Or can any random other node just jump in the fray?
So that's a good question. And there's two types of sieges, right? There's the node sieges and the castle sieges. I think the castle sieges will be more structured towards a guild element and having some structure there. Neither will be instanced in the sense of what an instance actually is, which is taking you out of the open world and putting you into your own shard of existence. But both will be in the open world, but there will be participation structure in sieging castles. With regards to the open siege on nodes, really the only structural component there in participation has to do with what node you're a member of, what node you're a citizen of. That will restrict your participation to a particular side. If you're in an allied node if you're a citizen of an allied node to the defender, you won't be able to participate as an attacker, or if you're the citizen of the defending node. And that's pretty much, for the most part, the only structure, I think, for city sieges.
Stephen, will there be a way?
Quick question regarding the guilds.
Okay.
Is there any prerequisites for actually having a guild? So, at the beginning of the game, is there anything you need to attain in order to make a guild?
Yes, there will be some prerequisites. There will be some prerequisites with regards to having a minimum member count at start, and that member count might be around 5 individuals. Additionally, there will be a material component cost that will include both currency as well as a material and quest line. And then the last thing I think that we'll have is a minimum level requirement. That should be relatively easy. But we want to prevent the
member
spamming.
count locked as well.
Minimum member count to start?
Maximum.
Oh, maximum. Yes, there is a locked maximum member cap. And then as you level the guild, you're going to have the option to expand the member cap significantly or expand it minimally, but increase the skill component of members of the guild.
Stephen, could we have, say, 2 guilds and be allies to the point where it's actually functional, but level the guild in a different way so we don't have to level to max members?
You will have the ability to declare alliances at a certain level. So at a certain level, a guild leader will have the ability to start the quest to make an alliance. He can create an alliance, become an alliance leader, and invite other guilds to this formed alliance. Yeah, that's I think I don't know specifically the question you're asking, but that's how the alliance feature will work. Then you'll have a set number of guilds you can invite to the alliance, and you won't have a member cap of the alliance. You'll just have a guild member cap. And then, so if you invited, let's say the guild member cap is 3 guilds can be invited to the alliance, then it doesn't matter if those 3 guilds had a 300 member cap or a 50 member cap. The member doesn't really play a role. It's a number of guilds in the alliance.
Yeah.
So is it more like an EVE Online system of corporations and alliances in that retrospect? Because in EVE Online, you can have as many guilds, or I should say corporations, in an alliance as there can be.
Yeah, you won't be able to invite as many guilds as you'd like into the alliance. The alliance will have a set guild member count. So you can only invite a number of guilds to the alliance before you must form a new alliance. And then those alliances can have a de facto friendship, but they won't have any game component of connection. What the alliance system would allow is pooling of resources by guild leaders into an alliance bank. It will allow certain participation in different quest lines. It will allow common area chat for members, and it will allow affiliations and gear that can be attained as well.
Are we going to be on guilds the entire time?
Yeah, no, you guys ask whatever questions you want.
Okay, on open world PvP, more be curious. I know that you have the caravan system and people can attack caravans, but with regards to just if I run across somebody and opt to put them down, what kind of detriments do I face doing so?
So there's a lot of info on that currently already released with regards to corruption. I would check one of the wikis and look up corruption because it is a big system, and there's certain detriments that kind of balance the reward factor of you being able to participate in open world PvP through the flagging system. Yeah. No unknown corruption will not be tested in Alpha 1. Corruption will be tested, however, in Phase 2.
Is there a market system in Phase 2 at all, or
the market system?
Yeah, is there going to be is the market system more of like a retrospect of like a grand auction house for one node, or are we gonna have to put up our own stalls to sell equipment and gear?
That's a good question. So from a stock perspective, the stock system will not be present in Phase 2 of Alpha 1. However, the merchant systems will be active, as well as the player trading system we're targeting to have available as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question about healing in action combat and targeting combat. I know that's going to be tested. I know that you said that action combat is going to be something that's tested openly in Alpha 1, but my question is, how is that going to work for healers?
It's a very good question. So we have a few design theories on action combat and healing to begin with phase one. Part of that will be the implementation of a class system into the castle siege and horde mode of phase one. Those will be kits that play out as skills available. From an action perspective, you'll be able to target in proximity, basically. So positioning is going to matter importantly for healers, being close to the individuals or party members you wish to heal. Additionally, you'll have reticle-based healing methods. This would be a template that could be launched in a direction as a pulse of heals or augments. There's a lot of different systems that we're playing with that you'll see more of when we get to those, when we get to the castle siege system and the horde mode.
Okay.
So Stephen, I have a question about so sieges and siege equipment. I know a few games have siege equipment where you just plop it down out of nowhere, like ESO.
Summon it. Yeah.
So are you having it set up so you build the siege equipment and you push it around the battlefield, or are you basically saying these people can bring a ballista and place it here and then they can use it and pick it up?
It's a good question. So there's two theories behind siege equipment. One of the theories is that siege equipment will require materials, constructions, pre-planning, craftsmanship that's needed in order to prepare this equipment to be brought to the field. The way that equipment will be constructed from a hands-on perspective is you'll have a summoning sheet that will magically construct in front of you this equipment that will then be available to drive. Basically, this will be a vehicle that can be, some will be vehicles, some will be handheld, some will require multiple people to be equipped before it to function. That's the idea behind some of the siege equipment.
Gotcha.
And then with regards to Alpha 1 Phase 1, however, in the Castle Siege system, we won't likely have that mechanic present. Instead, what we'll have is static siege equipment that's placed in the map for the attackers to utilize. That will present focal points of PvP in the match, where defenders will know where to target a specific area on the field in order to attack.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Hey, Steven, I got a question. First of all, I cannot believe I'm talking to you. This is amazing. Yeah, so my question is involving summoners. So say I'm a level 1 summoner or whatever, and I can summon an imp. Say I augment that to healer. So then maybe I'm thinking instead of my imp shooting like fireballs or whatever, maybe it kind of stands beside me and like drops healing like dots every like 3 seconds or something to kind of augment that spell. And then I was thinking or wondering, can you level up your summoners, your summonings?
Sure. So a summoner that goes with a cleric secondary class is going to be a necromancer, really. So the necromancer is going to be able to choose the path of life or death with regards to its summoning influences and augments. So you'll be able to augment your summons to either aid and assist in healing and providing support to either yourself or the other summons you may have out, or other party members. And the death side of that augmentation will really influence your opponent to create damage, to sap life, to manipulate their ability to survive in combat. The idea behind the system is that you're kind of skirting the line through these augmentations of your role, right? We have the traditional Holy Trinity that's present in class designs for MMOs, and it's often that those either are not deviated at all or completely deviated from entirely. The augment is to kind of offer a balance between that, where you still maintain the semblance of that Trinity system while offering the opportunity to customize your play experience towards one of the other angles in the triangle. I hope that I don't know. I think I kind of lost what.
Well, did you say if you could level up your summoners, monsters, or whatever?
Oh yes, you can level up. Absolutely, those are skills. Those are active skills that are found from your primary class. So you gain your summons from your summoner class as an active skill, and then skills can be further developed with points. Yes.
Thank you.
Hey Steven,
Yes.
I got a question about player names. So with the packages that have name reservation, are you reserving like a generic player name that'll be used for all your characters, or are you reserving like a specific character name?
You're reserving a specific character name. Yeah. So when we have a server list, you will be choosing a server and saving a name on that server.
Okay. And to go off that, are there going to be player names and character names, or just character names?
Something that we would like to implement, and our web team has been tasked with implementing, is the opportunity on our website to offer an exposable in-depth character sheet that you can share with the rest of the players and community, or turn private. And on that character sheet, basically, you'll be able to input a more in-depth name that includes a surname, includes whatever you want to do there. But for an actual world representation of your character's name, it's a single character name.
That's
Also
right.
on that-
With the server reservations, you said that we can basically pick our name along with that server. Do you know how many Head Start servers you're planning to have, so we can kind of, I guess, gauge what we need to do in advance on?
I believe that our current estimation is 3 Head Start servers, but we may refine that to 2. We're not defined on that yet, so I would wait to make an announcement.
Also, a question about the names as well. Is it just whoever, because there's Head Start servers, is it just whoever gets to reserve a name, or is it an order of packages? Like, for example, the person has a 10,000. Say if someone has a $10,000 package, and I have the $500 package, both want the same name. Do they get it over me because they paid more? Is it just first come first serve? Everybody gets a names reservation.
So it's first come first serve within the tier that you own. So that means that the 10K backer would have first dibs, and then followed by the 5, the 20. Well, Kickstarter first. So all packages in Kickstarter first, in order, and then summer backers in order, and then the web store backers. Yes.
So in terms of action combat, is a radical mode planned right now?
Correct. Currently, there is a reticle mode. Yes.
Will you be able to attack with left and right click for the basic weapon attack?
You will be able to use the left click for your basic. Currently, it's left click for your basic weapon attack.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
And then there's a focus button that's present on the right mouse button, and that also activates root motion attacks as well for melee.
Will we be able to set keybinds in Alpha 1?
Yes, Alpha 1 will include our, I believe it will, actually. I'm thinking real quick. Hold on. I think, yes. I think it does include hotkey customization, keybinds.
Yeah.
Well, macros of any kind, including on keyword software, will that be allowed or no?
That's a good question. The issue with macros is that from an anti-cheat metric perspective, it's difficult to define what a macro is against a script. And in order to catch all scripts, sometimes you have to prevent the macro usage. So really, that's a data issue. If we allow for macros, then we lose our ability to precisely ban script users, botters.
Jumping back to EU publishing.
I'm sorry?
Any news on EU publishing?
No news on that. We're preparing for our EU servers to be launched near the end of next month.
So, Steven,
yes,
about add-ons and mods. I know that you said before that you didn't want to have too many, but there's, for example, on WoW, I'm a role player. There's one called My Roleplay. It lets you have history, eye color, basically lets you write in a basic novel inside the game. Are you going to have anything in game sort of like that so people can find information about your character and stuff for the
that's part of the character sheet desire for us, which hopefully will be accessible in game as well by opening a browser through our UI, where you can get back history of a character that character has input themselves into journal entries that they may choose to share with others. That specifically with regards to that feature you just mentioned, that is something that we have actually thought about, because from a role play perspective, we want people to be in depth with their characters. About APIs, that is something that I am still
question.
considering. I see Shunex asked, Stephen, can we get OCE friendly times for alpha? So Shunex, the thing about the friendly times is the most important friendly time during testing phases is for our developers, so that we can profile and watch specific metrics. But I will say that Alpha 1 Phase 1, after a number of weeks, is intending to be a all-time access. So after a number of weeks, we intend those times to be friendly because you can play at any time. But during the first few weeks, it's going to be during certain hours that are friendly to developer times.
I got a question about the.
I have time for one more question, but yes, go ahead.
With the character creations, are we able to save characters that we can make during alpha and beta into the end game when it launches?
So I'll tell you what my hope is. This is my hope. Is that one, yes, character creation. I would like to have the option for players to go in, spend time, create a character, save that character, and then have it available in their suite, their character creation suite, as an option to preload at launch, that they can take those settings and launch with a character. I would love for there to be community rewards and competitions for the best made characters that we could do like a monthly kind of thing around, or additionally, I'd like for there to be implementation of housing and a housing suite that you can save your furniture loadout as well for building out the interior of housing. I don't know if we'll be able to get to that. It is a cherry on top of the icing, and we'll see how the schedule looks with that regard.
Wait, Stephen, please. This is about character creation too.
Okay.
I just want. Sorry, I really have to ask this. So how much in depth is your character creation? Because I played games where like you can't really create like a fat character, and I really want to. And like all you can do is have like really muscular characters, and I want to create like a fat.
So there definitely is going to be a range to the weight aspect of a character as well as the height, because from a character creation, from a character artist standpoint, as a pipeline goes, you must create the armor to fit and adjust on a skeletal body that is not blown out. So there are going to be parameters by which you can create the width of the character, height of the character. Yes, you won't just be able to go crazy with it. But with that being said, what we create is a central point on the character for a specific race, and then we allow a scale in one direction or the other. So hopefully that scale in one direction will be satisfying for you. I can say that if I were to give you a target of what I felt has done character creation well in the past, I would say BDO did a very nice character creation suite. I thought that was balanced with regards to the scalability of the customization for the option of players. I would say that was a good representation of an RPG aspected character creation suite.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought you were gonna say something like WoW, because I was like, in WoW, all you can do is change their facial hair and like their hair on top of their hair or something.
Thanks for your time, Steve.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care,
Have a
guys.
wonderful evening.